Welcome to Yin and Young. The following is a story taken from Chapter 2. I have called it Chairman Mao, the Model of a Man. I hope you enjoy it. On the other side of the globe at Renmin University of China in Beijing, Yinlin sat on her bed surrounded by a disordered pile of books, some with papers folded in the pages and others spread open around her. Yinlin's glasses were pushed up on the top of her forehead, and she held the page close to her eyes, her fingers splayed across the cover of a plain book. "Oh my God, what a bastard!" she blurted out, just as her roommate came through the door. Her roommate looked up and replied, "Oh, someone disappoint the little rabbit?" It was Duan Laifen. Laifen was one of those girls who caused men's eyes to go off course. She was tall and slim, with pert little breasts that nosed around like mewling kittens. To emphasize her advantages, she wore blouses that settled lightly over her body, usually white. Today she exposed more of her neck than appropriate. Every movement, a breeze or shifting mood registered in her appearance. Like a curtain blowing from the window, there was something continuously alluring about her presence. Laifen considered herself a modern woman, not trapped by the morality of the past. For her, intercourse with a man, any man, was as necessary as water. Yinlin actually didn't notice Laifen coming into the room. She was reading about Chairman Mao and had just pieced together another bit of his story. It was not easy finding out about the life he led with his many wives, as this was not helpful to the propaganda of the day. She was disgusted with what she was learning, and it stunned her that Chairman Mao was so admired. Laifen dropped her purse on the bed and slid out of her skirt. Standing in her exposed undergarments, she reached into her purse for a cigarette. Lighting it, she stepped across to Yinlin and blew smoke her way. Yinlin turned and realized that she had been spoken to. "Oh, it's not what you think." "Really?" Laifen replied. "Aren't you the one who attracts so many men with your rabbit innocence?" "I don't want a man," Yinlin replied. She was already in a disgusted mood. Yes, it was true, many men were attracted to Yinlin, but she always kept herself a safe emotional distance, and she, unlike Laifen, was not a well for any man to find water. "Of course you want a man, you innocent girl," Laifen replied. "You're not such a pure rabbit, are you?" Laifen drew on her cigarette and took a glance at herself in the mirror, admiring her form almost as much as any man would. Yinlin spoke. "I want a cigarette." "You? I can't believe it." "I want to be like you. I don't want to care about anything." "Really, darling, the rabbit is turning black." Laifen used her own cigarette to light another one for Yinlin, leaving her lipstick mark on the tip. Yinlin inexpertly took a draw on the cigarette, then blew out smoke. "Do you know about Chairman Mao?" Yinlin asked. "Did you know how much he never respected women?" "Chairman Mao? Is that what all these books are for? You need to get out more often, Linny girl. He's disgusting. He changed his wives like he changes clothes." "Yes," replied Laifen. She had her arm resting on the top bunk above Yinlin's bed, and was rubbing her cheek along her arm, enjoying the soft feel. "Like, he has the first wife, and when that first wife was put in jail, he married the second wife. And when the second wife started on the way of the Long March, carrying the baby for him, of course, in that difficult condition, she lost the baby. Then she got pregnant again, during the march, and lost the baby again. Can you believe it? Yinlin asked. Where did you learn this? From all those books? Lai Fen prodded. Yes, and do you know what? She got pregnant again and lost the baby again. And this destroyed her, so she always has serious women's stuff issue. So later she had to go to the Soviet Union to cure her problem after New China. Before that, actually. But even at that time, she suffered with him all along. Yinlin put special emphasis on all along. She paused. And also by the long march, she gave up her kids to the local peasants because they are marching and can't keep the kids because the kids always cry and that risks being discovered by the enemy. And all that time, what kind of animal is going to have sex with her all along the long march and in the mud so that she keeps getting pregnant? Lai Fen didn't reply. She just turned, and with her cigarette in her mouth, she looked at her profile in the mirror above the desktop. Yinlin continued. Why does everyone speak so highly about Chairman Mao when the women are treated this way? And you know, when her body is in such terrible condition, he starts seeing Jiang Qing. So he sends his wife to the Soviet Union so the doctors can fix her body, but actually he uses this opportunity to be with his new lover. His wife is getting surgery to fix her body, and the great chairman is playing around with a beautiful film star. I don't want the man to use my body like that. I don't want to be just a cloth to be thrown away. I hate it. I hate him. He's such a bastard. Oh, Puss, you're so afraid of what the man will do to you, replied Lai Fen. It is not so disgusting, you know. You should taste it. Yinlin was surprised at Lai Fen's reply. She even stopped talking for a moment. But look at Jiang Qing. Do you see what happened to her in the end? That doesn't bother you? Listen, no one will pay attention to this kind of talking, and some people will be offended. Don't you know he's God? He's a man. He's smart, like an emperor. He's the kind of a man many women want, a model for a husband. What? I can't believe it. You don't get angry? Why? This is how men are, and Chairman Mao is the biggest big shot. It is not so bad, you know. Do you think his wives got no pleasure being with him? Yinlin grew quiet. She felt the unfair feeling about male and female, but it was worsened by the fact that she could not get agreement from her roommate, and Lai Fen was the most free woman of all her roommates. At that moment, Chow Tungmei came in. She was a practical person and dressed in a more formal manner, choosing to wear a jacket over her blouse and skirt. She was not tall and lean as Lai Fen, but still slim. She was an efficient person with an inviting manner and appearance. She looked around and noticed that Yinlin was smoking. "What's going on?" she asked. "Rabbit here is glumming about how women are treated, and she thinks Chairman Mao is a bastard." "What? Don't say that. What's wrong with you?" "Oh, never mind. I don't want to talk about it." Yinlin had already given up this line of her argument. Then after a thought she continued, "Don't you think women are treated unfairly? We're supposed to be equal. We shoulder half the sky, but do you think it's really that way?" As she asked the question, she thought about her roommates. All of them. When they were not studying, they were chasing men. The awareness began to dawn on her that she may never get agreement from them about this topic at all, but she tried anyway. "Did you never wonder why there are only men in the engineering department?" "Engineering?" gasped Lai Fen as she butted her cigarette in a dish. "Engineering?" Tungmei repeated. "What women wants to go into engineering? We're just women. Why would we want to take that burden? Just women, Yinlin whispered to herself. She stopped talking. Never mind, she said. She got her books and started packing them. Yinlin realized that she was not going to get agreement from her roommates, and decided it was time for her to get out of the room. She needed to do something to shake her mood. Over the years, Yinlin found again and again that her views didn't fit those around her. Because of this, Yinlin felt perhaps she was wrong, but it didn't remove the anger. Nor was she able to resolve the contradiction that women shoulder half the sky, yet we are just women.